Hi everyone, my name is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I'm continuing a little series that I'm doing for figuring out your own process. If y'all have seen all of my writing craft videos, writing craft book videos, I've kind of really delved into what is being taught, and I have a lot of my documents in my members only page, and I kind of jived with little bits from each book, and I wanted to share the mashup of that. And so I've created a document that I'm calling Story Structure Mashup, and I'm basically putting Save the Cat together along with Romancing the Beat. I have some things down there for Story Genius, creating character arcs, and yeah, I was going to say Wired for Story, but I'm thinking of Story Genius. So some character stuff, some story stuff, and if you saw my Notion, please go check out my Notion video, and it's going to break down how I showed that story structure within Notion to keep track of my own book. But I will also be showing that page in this as well, just to show you what you can do with different things. Because before Notion, I was just keeping everything in a Google Doc, and so that's where this one currently is, but it'll also be in the members only page for you to grab and make your own copy so that you can tweak it to you. Because what I was saying in my 2021 was that all of our structures are different, and like a lot of the scenes in Save the Cat, I don't use all of them. And so maybe you don't either, and you're more like me, or maybe you do use them all. And so I didn't want to like delete any that you might be using. So this is it's called, I should probably just change it to mashup. Story structure, mashup. So what I have going here is, like I said, Save the Cat, Romancing the Beat, 4-act structure kind of, and creating character arcs with Story Genius, probably. So roadmap is for my pantsers, where we have, our bare minimum, our opening scene, the inciting event, our midpoint, where it all goes to crap, the climax, and the finale. That's pretty much what I always have in mind when I first brainstorm a book. So I put those on here to create your own roadmap. So if you're down in part 2 and you're in the fun and games and you're like, wow, I forgot where I'm going, you can come back up here and be like, well, the midpoint was this, so how do I get there? So in here, which I didn't show in my Notion one, I took these bits out, and I guess I'll leave them in here for you guys because they're helpful. If you haven't read these books yet, if you haven't checked out my other documents, they're really helpful. So the first act is about setting up your character's lie. The second act is about destroying the lie and helping the character find the truth. And then like the third one is them like living in the truth and doing that. So a lot of this is just helpful hints. First half of your book's about your character reacting. Second half is them taking action. I wanted to leave these tips in here in case you haven't heard of these and you haven't read those books. And then I wanted to put in some subplots here, but feel free to add your own. I'm going to be doing a little example if y'all want to see it at the end of the video. So if you don't want to see it, you can just cut out. But I'm going to be doing it with a short story, so I'll probably only have one subplot, but just to give you an idea. Opening image is how Save the Cat is, and then you're going to introduce your MC, usually with the external goals with stakes, kind of letting the reader see where they're at when the book opens, what they're kind of dealing with. And then scene 2, see these like scenes, I don't match up to this. Pretty much your setup's going to be here too. You're not just going to be like, here's my theme, and that's all that's here. So your setup, your theme stated, and then meet cute, and your no way number 1. This is for Romancing the Beat side. So if you don't have romance in your story, you're just going to keep setting up their circumstances. Basically what's going to happen if you are doing a romance, and my channel's kind of tailored to that, so sorry about me speaking about it, but you're going to introduce your H2 in Romancing the Beat. It's H1, H2, but your meet cute. And then they're going to be like, I'm not going to go with that person because of this. And that's going to be their no way number 1. Except that the catalyst is coming that's going to rock their world and throw those two characters together. Now, if you don't have a romance, this could just be them leaving their normal world to say it's fantasy. They're learning the magic system, or they're going, if it's court intrigue, maybe they're, taking an undercover spot at the court, or maybe they're a princess and have to go to another country or whatever you're doing. This is like that catalyst that's going to throw them into their next thing. I was trying to think, throwing a glass just popped into my brain where Selena was taken from the prison and brought to the castle, and that's kind of her catalyst. I feel like that one's a very quick one to get her to her new world. And like that story, she doesn't really get to debate. I think she's given an option once she's at the castle to stay there or go back. And that's kind of her debate beat. But for me, like if I was taking this, I would just delete one of these debate scenes, because usually my people don't get to debate when it's an adhesion. It's like I guess they get the choice. It's like you either do this or you're fired, or you do this or you're cut from your dreams, and it's like a no-brainer. I guess mine should, I don't know. I guess I can work on that. But anyways, break into 2 is the start of Act 2. So this is where they're actually leaving that world, their first world, and coming into the second one. I guess probably Throne of Glass had the actual other part that threw her into Act 2. But anyway, so this starts your B story, which in Save the Cat, like the B story's like, I don't really like it a lot. I think that's where if you had a love interest, but like up here, that's where the meet cute would be. So I just don't even worry about the B story. I think a lot of it too is like mentorship, like Haymitch in the Hunger Games, stuff like that. But this is your no way number 2 if you're doing romance. So they're now doing their adhesion. Say they got thrown together for a job, and they're going to have another no way. Like something from their past is going to be like, I don't trust guys, so I'm not going to trust this guy. Or he hurt me in the past, and I'm not going to give him another chance. Like just something, but the whole way you're like falling for them again. So inkling it could work. You're going to have a pinch point. The pinch point comes from the 3-act structure. So it's separate kind of from Save the Cat and Romancing the Beat. And this is where some people have issues with Save the Cat, is that it's kind of just a muddled mess of fun and games, and not everyone knows what to do with that. I love it because I'm really great at the fun and games, but sometimes you can have the middle of your part 2, your antag could come in and flex. This could be the physical antag, or it could be the mental and emotional antag, in which case that's kind of what your no way is. So maybe you're having an inkling it could work, and then you're like, oh, but I really probably shouldn't. But deepening desire, trying to match these up. Like for scene 14, I don't know if this would just still be deepening desire, or maybe this will work, would be up here. But they figure stuff out, and at the midpoint in a romance, usually they get together, they have their first kiss, they decide to date, they decide to share their feelings that they like each other, or maybe even say I love you. It's just that monumental peak in their relationship. So if you're, and this is all like for positive arcs, so if you have a negative or flat, like, but for positive arcs, maybe if you're fantasy or any other type of genre, like it's where you think like you're good, you got all your like your team together and all of your weapons or strategies, and you're like, yes, we're gonna do the thing, right? So then we get into Act 3. Stuff starts snowballing from there. So I've got the bad guys in here. And in a romance, that's when the doubt is going to start coming back in. I'm kind of torn on if the first scene shouldn't be an inkling of doubt right away, because what I've found is that your midpoint hits and everything's glory, and then you never get to ride that wave. But I guess that wave starts in the fun and games section. But what I found is like when you ride that wave and then already doubts creep in, I think like you need more there. So in my mind, I would maybe move inkling of doubt to the next scene maybe, and just kind of let them settle in with the midpoint for a scene. But I'm going to leave this how Save the Cat has it. So bad guys are coming. When you get to scene 19, retreat, something has happened. Your MC has learned something about the other person in which they are ready to back out of that relationship. Something's happening. Maybe it could even be an external plot thing. I'm trying to think, like blackmail or just something else that's going to keep them apart. So this pinch point, the antag kind of steps in again. They ramp up the stakes, and it kind of showcases what the final battle might be about. And so that, again, is part of the 3-act structure. And then bad guy still, and then you put your shields up in a romance. So you're just like, shielding myself from this heartache, this relationship right now. All is lost, I would say, is the breakup. It is one beat, so I think that's perfect for the breakup. And then you go into your darkest night where you can like wallow about it. And it's Romancing the Beat has a lot less scenes names because they say you could make it multiple scenes or one scene. It's really up to your story, so it's less structured than Save the Cat's outline is like, you have 9 scenes for this beat, and you're like, I definitely have less. But then we break into 3, and this kind of is where it gets tricky. So in Save the Cat, break into 3 is actually the 3rd act, but in Romancing the Beat, it is before you hit the 3rd act, and it's when they wake up, have epiphanies, truths, start completing their character arc, and everyone, I think it's different whether it's the end of Act 2 or it's the start of Act 3, but it's still in that same like percentage range, you know what I mean? So you go into the finale, you gather your team, execute the plan, Hightower surprise, dig deep down, execution of the new plan. I think all of that works extremely well in fantasy and not so well in contemporary, but maybe it's just because I haven't thought of ideas that would like impede my person. I did for Half of My Heart, but so we had the grand gesture, and I just made it this whole block because it's technically, this is all the finale, so technically this would be all the grand gesture. Maybe stuff happens and it doesn't go to plan or whatever, but they need to eventually fully reject the lie and embrace the truth to complete their character arc. And this is from, I believe, Creating Character Arcs by K.M. Moyland. And then we go into the finale some more. Execution of the new plan, grand gesture. I was trying to think of where this would go, the fully reject the lie thing. So that's kind of where I guess the climax would be. And so is execution of the new plan technically the new climax? So that's when you're actually defeating your antag. And then we enter the final image in Wholehearted. So final image is usually a reflection of your opening image. It can be either a direct reflection where they're back in that same place, or it can be some like shared, I usually do a shared joke or kiss or date or something that's going to reflect on how they were in that scene from the first scene. Something that really reflects them and the whole story that you told. So I put in more notes here, like as you approach the scene, gather everything you know about your protag and their worldview. What are they worried about? How's it going to affect their judgment? Because really each scene is through their viewscape and their thoughts. And so to keep them consistent, to keep their lies and then their truths, like you need to constantly be thinking about what they're thinking. And then zero in on the heart of the story, take out their real life distractions that don't affect it because they're just going to be fluff for your story, and weave in the relevant elements. All of this is just things I took from, I believe, Story Genius. So we follow the if this, then that process. So this is all kind of like if you get stuck in your scenes, how to keep going. You're wanting to think of like plot-wise, what's happening story-wise, what's happening the why and the what. And this will help you in your scenes if you're needing to think of like more. If you're kind of brainstorming, this is just going to help you brainstorm some more. And I just put down helpful things, the whole show, don't tell, show why he's sad. Show the character's train of thought and internalization, competing desires, fears, and therefore choices. Every action has a cause and consequence. Every scene must do all these things. And then for cause and effect, you can ask yourself these questions. It is from Story Genius because they have the ANSO test. So all of this is basically just extra. It's not necessarily part of story structure. I just wanted you to think about it when you're creating your scenes and your character for their growth, because part 2 of this little mashup is kind of more focused on characters. So we go into the theme, the story arc, your main character. So the backstory, their flaw, wound, misconception about love is more for the romance part. Lie, want, need, their arc, and then kind of just keeping track of the things that you put in your story, little tidbits that you're going to want to remember later. I don't like filling out a whole character sheet because like only certain stuff's relevant really when it comes to your story, but feel free to just add more to that. Then I was going to say all your secondary characters think that they're the main character. They have their own agenda, realizations, and usually their own arc. So if you want to create this list for more than just the love interest and the end tag, like if you have more side characters who really impact the story with their own agenda, I do in hashtag goals. And so I'm going to be doing that for them as well. Create a little bio, ask yourself how that character's agenda fits into the story, how they are a reflection of your character, or if they like egg them on. This part. Either challenge or reaffirm your protagonist's belief. Every character serves a purpose, okay? If they're not serving a purpose, you need to cut them or combine them with another character. And then we have this, I love this six-stage plot structure in which there's the inner journey and the outer journey. And I haven't really moved this into the actual scenes list that I did, but I'm going to leave this visual here for you to look at it as well. It's really hard to do scenes and consider character arcs and them and like put them into the scenes because I don't know how your character is growing. I could be like, oh yeah, scene 4 is when my character really believes her lie, and then scene 5 they're whatever, but that might not be how it is for you. So I didn't want to just like push my stuff on you. So here's all of this to look at, and then I think I'm going to include this. So from Writers Helping Writers is where this 3-act structure came from, and I like including it because it really breaks down the percentages better than what I've seen from a 3-act structure. So up top is kind of like the external plot point 1, pinch point, midpoint, plot point, pinch point 2. Oh my gosh, this is nuts. In the bottom, it's kind of just character based too. So I wanted to leave that in there. And then she had all these links, that website had all these links. And I thought they were really helpful, and I was going to keep them to myself, but I think I'll keep them in this document for y'all. But just know that I didn't create those links. I haven't even clicked on all of them to see that they're all, go to something still. But as you can see, I'm still kind of tweaking this, but it will be up on the members only page, and y'all can look at it. And if y'all have tweaks, please let me know what you would like to have edited on it. I'm going to show y'all, oh, hey. No, wait, not that one. My Notion one. So this is, if y'all want to bounce out now, you can. But if you missed my Notion, this is what that looks like. And I was going to pop into scenes. And this is basically where I copy and pasted that, except I left out all of those paragraphs of text that you can see. I only kept in the bottom 2 pictures. So this is very streamlined because I already knew all that extra stuff I put into the document because I'd read it already. So I wanted to go through here. I created this, and so scene 1 would be like intro of MC with life problem. And for this story, for this cookie story, her life problem is that she has a Christmas festival coming up, and her mom has passed in the last year and has always had the family recipe of cookies at that festival. And now it's up to my main character to replicate that family recipe, which she has just not learned, and she's burning batches and messing it up. And she is stressing out over like fulfilling this family like tradition and like failing her mom kind of because she never really learned. She doesn't have like the baker gene. So that's kind of like that. So her intro MC is her baking and burning the cookies, and her external goal, I just mentioned what I just did. The meet cute is that she left her door, so her oven started smoking and set off the fire alarm. So she opened a door to let all that air out while the neighbor's dog runs in, and he's just moving in. And the dog runs in and tries to eat the burnt cookies. But anyway, so she meets the neighbor who happens to be like a baker. And so she, you know, tries to debate if getting help is cheating on her family recipe, and it's a secret recipe, so she doesn't want to let him in on what the secret ingredients are and like all that stuff. But adhesion somehow will be them being thrown together for this festival that's happening. And she debates, you know, should I just not do it because then everyone will know what a fraud I am and that these cookies aren't going to taste like my mom's cookies, and break into two, like the fun and games. Like maybe the baker has decided that he's going to help teach her how to bake. And so he's trying to show her, so they get all the fun stuff. You could do all that lovely, like tossing of flour. Maybe they have a flour fight or whatever. And so just all of that. And then, you know, you help get a smudge off their face or whatever. And they're just deepening desire. And you know what? At the midpoint, they're going to kiss. And she's going to think, you know what? This is going to work out. I'm totally learning how to bake, and I'm not going to mess up my mom's cookies. And then the bad guys close in. So maybe the guy who's been helping her has to leave town. Maybe he has to leave for a little bit and will not be there for the festival anymore. And she starts flipping out about like if she should have even trusted him in the first place. And maybe she shared what that secret recipe is. And oh my gosh, what if he goes and makes that and sells all her mom's cookies, like something, you know what I mean? So bad guys closing in. She's getting self-doubt again. Maybe she starts thinking internally about her mom, maybe any of the lies that she believes about herself, and kind of gets all of this so that she, like, possibly they have a breakup if they were together. I don't know if they were or not, but maybe she just like cuts herself off from him and is like, you know what, this was all a mistake. I'm not going to bake these cookies. She goes into the darkest night where she just feels like an utter failure. Maybe she goes and talks to her mom's grave or someone from town who I haven't mentioned any townsfolk up till now, but she has friends. She has family friends. So maybe one of them talks her through missing her mom and, you know, what the baking the family recipe cookies is going to mean. And then she goes into the finale. And that's kind of like, now I'm picturing in the Bridesmaids where she's baking at the end to like regain a sense of herself. So maybe that's something that happens here, and like she finally gets her cookies together and it's the recipe and it's perfect. And so gathering the team, maybe she does get help, maybe that guy does come back, and she executes these cookies and can bring them to the festival and really get like people's opinions from that. And maybe they tell her like it didn't matter if she got the cookies right or not because they're just so happy that she's there and they're thankful for her, and, you know, magical Christmas lovey times. And maybe she has to apologize to the guy because really, like, he had to go. He didn't like break up with her. He just had to leave, and it wasn't his fault that he had to leave town for a little bit. And so she has to apologize, maybe with some cookies, maybe with something else. And maybe it's horrible because she's a bad baker and they laugh about it. And he's like, you know, maybe I'll do the baking from now on, or just something cute. You know what I mean? So that's just a breakdown of Save the Cat with Romancing the Beat and a short story. So like for this one, it would have like one subplot. It'd have a plot, she needs to bake cookies for this festival. Subplot would probably be the neighbor baker. And so I would just go in here and write everything down that I just said out loud. But they'd have this, and then you can see this so that you can come back up and add it in here. I'm trying to learn how to share just this page or even the template. Like this is the actual cookie template that has everything in it. How to share just it without y'all getting access to everything else, because I think this is really helpful. And I mean, honestly, I just copy and pasted from my Word doc, and then I just added these beats, these scenes. So you could do the same. I mean, it wasn't that hard, but I have my main character stuff in here so I could keep track of them. And then, of course, these pictures down here to help remind me of like where the story is going, and if I need to have some pinch points in there. Obviously, that was I just seriously made this up while I was talking to the camera. All I have so far is up to the meet cute, so all of that was improvised. So I would definitely go back and work in more antag stuff and more internalization with the lies and truths and all that stuff. And obviously added more town characters, not just wait till the end for them to be like, you're being silly because blah. But yeah, I hope that was interesting and helpful to see it kind of broken down this way. It really helped me as a romance writer to add in romancing the beat to my story structure. And if there's any other structures that y'all follow, please give a shout out down in the comments down below. And if y'all need to tweak anything in this document, like that's totally fine. Just go grab it from my members only page. You can also ask for edits, please. If you see anything wrong or that you would want to tweak, you can leave a comment here on YouTube, or you can go to my Instagram and message me there as well. Or there's a contact page on my website as well. And so we can go and I can edit any of this stuff for you guys. But yeah, that was a really quick rundown. Thank y'all so much for watching. I, again, hope this was helpful. I'm really excited to start using this. I used it in my last, my Nano book, and then retroactively in Project Emma and Hashtag Goals, because I'd only used Save the Cat for those. So it was good. I got that Pitch Wars feedback about Project Emma, and that's when I implemented Romancing the Beat and when I learned about it. So that was the beginning of 2020. So it's been nice, and it's been nice knowing going forward for my future books. That's my outline. Like that template y'all saw is what is in all of my books now, except for the middle grade, because they won't have a romance part. Because yeah, that's pretty much what I write is romance subplots. So yeah, that's it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Notion if you haven't already. I got the story structure stuff. I'm trying to think of what else. I got some more stuff coming. February is going to be about romance things, and so it's kind of the romancing the beat side of stuff, and just really breaking down story structure with romance in mind. And so if that's something y'all are into, super sweet, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you'll get notified, and like this video if you liked it. Thanks so much again, you guys, and I wish you luck on outlining and brainstorming your next books. Bye.